Boom, 360 kick coming at you on a Wednesday. That one took a few tries, all right? Hope you appreciated that one. Bringing the energy, a little bit out of breath from all our practice. But I'm gonna take in that one. That was a good take. It's Wednesday, we can get it in. Got a nice AMRAP, got some strength work in the beginning. We're gonna start today with a little bit more of a flow when it comes to the warm up, all right? So come down, maybe do a few jump kicks before, get your heart rate up, nice and high. We're going to that 90-90 hip stretch, except we're gonna flow through it a little more. So you'd be here. What I mean by flow is kind of we're moving. So you're pressing out to the side, not a strict rotation, you can lean back a little bit. Maybe legs straight, and then press out to this side, reach. Nice and slow, nothing crazy, reach, twist. Start to throw some pulls in there, you're kind of reaching and going back. Then maybe staying upright on these next couple. So now I'm sitting up nice and tall. A little bit harder to open up through those hips. So flow in that for a minute, maybe two. And then I want you to come down in the quadruped position. So that's where we're hands and knees, but we take our knees up off the ground. Slide this back a little, make sure you can see me. So if I'm here, I'm gonna pull those knees up. I'm gonna start with some taps, a little shifting side to side, and then start with some kind of twists and turns. Good. And then start to open the hips up as I come through with one leg, through with the other leg. Maybe even stop here, pause, twist to open, get some pressure out here in my hip, hold for a second, then back down. What I mean by that flow piece, like I said before, is you're just kind of moving, exploring, getting in all the different angles of the hips, all right? When you're finished with those two, then we'll start to go a little more traditional. Drop into that perfect lunge. A lot of flexion, a lot of squatting today, so I want to make sure we hit those hips hard. So here, you can still stay with that flow position where you're kind of reaching, maybe a twist out to the side, a twist underneath, moving the hips around a little bit. Again, I'd go a minute on each leg, all right? Legs are starting to get opened up a little bit. I'd go out and run, a minute or two, get their heart rate going. Maybe you're inside, just jumping jacks. So we stretched a little, pushed through the hips, then we went for a run. Now we'll start to move directly related to the movements that we're doing, all right? So we'll go unweighted and we won't elevate that back leg, we'll just step back into a lunge. Good, I'm gonna stay on that same leg, just get a little dynamic with a little speed. Maybe a punch through here at the top of the knee. I'm gonna stay at that same leg. So on my left side, I'm gonna work a fold. Good, like a one-legged RDL. Fold. So really trying to fire up. Got my hamstring fired up. Got that quad, glute fired up from the lunges. Reverse, same thing on the other side. All right? Got some core work today. So I'm gonna sit down, make sure my hip flexors are fired up for those V-ups. Press into the mat. Kind of go up and over with my legs. Maybe 15, 20 reps here. And then I'm gonna go nice and active, straight leg, kind of like a leg swing, but in a prone laying down position. So I'm gonna flex that toe up, and then I'm gonna pull. So if I was mobile, I'm kind of really extending that toe, hamstrings tight, I would be able to have a straight leg all the way back to here, all right? So hamstrings a little bit tight, that's kind of my range. So again, flex knee, flex toe, trying to pull up, feel a nice stretch to those hamstrings. All right, starting to get warmed up. Now we're gonna get into the workout. Starting with the strength, we have the Bulgarian Split Squat. So you want to elevate that back leg. We've done these before. You can just call them a Bulgarian squat. You can call them a rear elevated foot split squat. Try to go weighted. If you can go 2 dumbbells on each side, that's awesome. Or you can go in a goblet position. Depending on the height and what you're using, I like to kind of lay the top part of my toe on the box. If you go just toe up on the box, it's pretty hard to control. You might hit your shin, all right? So I'm here, and then I'm in a stance where as I squat down, I can try to pull back and get my hips to come down a little bit as I stand. I didn't have my balance good on that one. So what I'm avoiding is any kind of like pressure through my toe, all right? That was a bad one. I want you to really, switch legs a little bit, really be able to sink down at the hips while trying to keep that chest fairly upright. It's not gonna be straight up and tall, straight up and down. So I'm gonna press back at that hip and then drive out. Press back at that hip and then drive out. Notice how my knee is not getting pressed out over my toe. There is a slight angle there in my back, but I'm fighting to try to keep that chest up and not just fall forward, all right? Got 8 of those on each side. If you weight them and do them correctly, it should be tough and challenging. It's a slow movement, starts to burn, so take your time. This is strength training. Really challenge yourself with that. One arm row, done plenty of these before. That safe hinge position. All right, working some of that pulling work. Hard to get pulling work in if you don't have a pull-up bar or you don't have rings or anything you can hang from. So that's why we're doing a fair amount of these single arm rows. All right, pull it in nice and tight. If you don't have a heavy load, try a 2-point row. So I pause here and then I pause here. Pause, pause. Where I'm kind of hugging that dumbbell up into my ribs, keeping my elbow in nice and tight. If you have that heavier dumbbell, you're not going to be able to hold that position, so you'll come right back out of it. Same thing, 16, 8, and 8. All right, now we get into the workout. We have a 12-minute AMRAP. We're going to climb the ladder. 5, 5, 5, 10, 10, 10, 15, 15, 15. Score is going to be total reps, starting with goblet squats. We all know a good squat, right? Feet in a good stance, they stay flat, and then you have some type of weighted implement, holding it here on your chest. Squat down, hip crease below the knee, and then stand up. All right? Hips should be nice, open, legs should be warm, prepped and primed, especially after this Bulgarian split squat. Should be a weight that you can do your set of 15, probably 20 unbroken. Maybe instead of 25 you have to set down, but with everything else being off the legs a little bit, you should be able to roll right through on that, all right? From there, we have our opposite hand, opposite foot V-up. We've done a bunch of these before also. So you're trying to get rounded out and hollow in that lower back, kind of like this position, not pressed up and creating space. So to kind of round up, and I try to fight to get to my laces or my toe, and then I sweep through opposite arm and then fight up. As you progress, they might start to look like this. Hold yourself accountable. Try to reach where I'm getting those shoulder blades up off the ground. I'm keeping that toe pointed, really getting some good action here through the core and nice mobility here through my hamstring, all right? Hold on to those positions. From there, we have our Russian swing, all right? If you have a dumbbell, it's not going to be ideal. Hopefully you have a KB. KB, we know, hinge back, and then squeeze those glutes at the top. Try to develop that position where I'm here, and I drive that bell through as I squeeze my glutes when I stand, all right? Bell becomes a little bit weightless. We're not worried about the height. I'm worried about that drive of that hip with the power. If you have the dumbbell, a few ways to do it. You can interlock the hands here and then swing through. If it's not too heavy of a weight, you can hold the dumbbell on each side, or you can just kind of overlap your hands. Similar swing position, all right? Not ideal with the dumbbell, but it's doable. See how high you can get in that ladder in 12 minutes. This one you should be spent by the end. You're gonna attack the glutes on the KB swings, attack them again on those squats, attack the front here with the core and the hip flexor on the opposite hand, opposite foot V up. Nice, full, total body workout today. Enjoy.